welcome back to more Humankind, friends. My name is Tobel. Thanks for joining me again, and let's take a look at where we are sitting. I've actually played a couple of games offline between this episode and the last one, so I wanted to double check on where we are. I really think that I'm underutilizing the attachment system, because it seems like that does give you more access to all of these different resources without having to invest fully in a city, right? So if I just simply spend 39 influence from one of my outposts, I suddenly have access to this, what was this? This was silk, right? And the interesting thing is, I think it also gives us access to everything around it, because this does say in the resource exploitation of the tooltip, it exploits everything. So in theory, I don't know why, maybe because this is not a city. Maybe that's the real key here. However, if this was attached to our, I guess, our main capital, or even Sipar, if this was attached to Sipar, if we build an artisan's quarter on top of the silk, it should give us access to the silk. It should also give us access to all of the surrounding tiles, because this acts as a exploitation type of tool. So let's test this out. Let's go over to Sipar, and we're going to use 24 influence points. Keep this in mind. This, if we were going to do a resource exploitation, it was only going to give us +2 when we first started this. So let's try to attach here. Right, there we go. I think I misunderstood, by the way, how the Hanging Gardens of Babylon worked. It has to be done from a city, but not necessarily your capital, is what it looks like. Because now this is available to us. It wasn't here before because we did not have a luxury resource available, but now it is. So if we head over here, we should now have access to the Artisan Quarter. And so if we put this here, it's going to give us +3 gold. That's really it. So it does not act as an extension where you're able to capture the surrounding resources. That's curious, because it seems as though it indicates resource exploitation. So like the Farmer's Quarter, for example, would give us access to everything around this extension, this outpost that is now attached to the city. But this does not, because we have surrounding +2 production, +1 food, but it does not look like it's going to give us anything but money. But that's fine. Let's try that out. We're going to use this. What did I just interrupt, by the way? Okay, I didn't kill it. It's still in the queue, so that's fine. What else have I learned? I played a little bit more offline. We learned that I may have mentioned this last episode, but if I didn't, I think I was believing that when you place down a quarter, it gave you an increase in all of the surrounding resources, which it does not. It only gives you an extension where you're able to reach things you could not have reached before, right? So if we were to put down, where was that one area right here? So if we put down, of course, the Maker's Quarter in this particular spot, we would then have access to tiles farther away. Seems like a basic concept now, but I did want to make sure that I corrected myself in case I was giving out incorrect information. So we do have a cap of 3 cities, so we probably want to work towards a 3rd city at some point. We're growing the area of Al Janib here. We're growing... we already have attached this territory to our main city as well. Yeah, I think we're going to go on a bit of a territory spree. That seems to be the smart thing to do. So do we have someone available? We do. We've got a horseman over here. We did get this one, so let's keep pushing over to this next territory that has quite a few lovely hidden resources that we don't know about yet, which is probably iron, I would assume. And you guys down here, you do need to heal up, but I think we can do that once we put down our next territory. So let's go into this territory that has ebony. Oof, wow, look at this cliff face. Look how far you have to go to get access to this region. I love the geography of this game. It's absolutely fascinating. And I'm excited because it's such a unique take on what we've, kind of done before. We've done the same thing. Oop, that was a poor choice. I could kill the deer and then go downhill here, I think. So let's go ahead and attack the deer. Oh, shoot. I completely forgot. Uh-oh. Did I kill that unit? I did. I completely forgot that the unit was wounded. Oh, I've needlessly sacrificed horseman and scout. That's a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Lessons learned. Let's see if we can buy another one at some point here soon. We're sitting on 122 gold, which might be enough for a buyout. I wonder if it increases with how many units you have out there. 200, we don't have any more horses? No, we do. 137, so just a bit more. I probably should save some money in case that becomes important. We do have a lot more citizens. Oh, that's right. We should actually have a lot more citizens now as well in Sipar. It eats the citizens basically from the outpost. So we now have additional citizenry which is useful. So maybe there's a limit on how many outposts each city should have. Maybe you should stagger your cities much farther. So, for example, perhaps what we could have done for Babylon was to place down 3 outposts surrounding Babylon, attach them all to Babylon. Therefore, we have a ton of extra citizens all working on these different, particular tiles or what have you, and then we put a city farther out. Perhaps that's the better route to go. But again, unless your citizens are making enough food to count for themselves, it's actually a negative, right? Because we're only making 6 food per, and I think we did the math and found out that it takes about 7 or 8 food per person to maintain. But that could be helped with the animal barns thing that we talked about a little while ago. Right, over here we do have animal barns down here, don't we? I thought animal barns give us... Oh, this is just simply 1 food. What's the one that gives you extra food per food worker? That might be the granary. Yes, so 2 food per farmer's active. So up here. So each of these, if we were to get that technology, we would get an extra 10 food per turn, which is definitely useful. Now that we've maxed out our food workers, I think it's important to probably queue up granary. So we're making a maker's quarter. We've got about 6 turns for that. Let's go ahead and queue up the granary next. We're starting to get a lot of buildings here. The House of Scribes, again, this is not a... Oh, this is an infrastructure thing. 1 science per researcher. So it gives us extra science. We don't have a lot of researchers yet, but that seems like a pretty decent upgrade. Again, infrastructures are upgrades that take place in your city as a whole. They don't actually go down as a district. All right, so let's go ahead and end the turn, and we'll just spend a few turns figuring out where we are. If we lose this one, of course, I will come back to new episodes. It's going to be a new series of this, or I'll do a lot more on Twitch, I think, is how this is going to work out. Because what I find on Twitch is that there's so many people who know about the game and who are getting information from watching Quill streams, or maybe you're watching The Spiffing Brit, or maybe Potato McWhiskey starting to do this as well. And so we kind of share this information on streams and stuff like that, and then I can kind of convert it into something... we can convert it into something on YouTube. We're getting Mutinous in Sipar. Rutro, we have dropped our stability down even further. There's 20 from the district, there's 10 from the farmer's market, 10 from the maker's quarter, and then 20 from the number of attached territories. So by attaching this territory, we lost a lot of stability. However, we're about to get a counter effect of that with the public fountain. Okay, so there is, again, part of that theory I just mentioned where you have territories attaching to your major city. The capital... I think the capital could support something like maybe another, I guess really 3. We've only attached 1 so far, huh? This would cost 104. Just for science's sake, let's attach Al Janib and see what happens. This brings us down to Mutinous as well. So every time you attach a territory, you lose 20 stability. We went from -20 to -40 in our losses category because of the number of attached territories. Good to know. We did get an increase. I actually don't think this has too many people yet. What is this? Converted in 2 turns, and cultural conversion in 2 turns as well. Okay, fair enough. So, we will also want to queue up a bathhouse or the public fountain here as well. Actually, probably to the front of the queue. How much would this cost to buy out? This is probably going to be a bit too expensive to build. Can you see the buyout cost once it's in a queue? You can't. 697. Yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to afford that just yet. It's only going to take about 9 turns. Oh, this includes... This is interesting. It doesn't give you just how many turns it would take. There it is on the bottom. It talks about the initial duration and then also the turns until completion of your entire queue before it. So this is going to take 9 turns, including the Maker's Quarter. So 9 turns... And we're going to hit strained quite soon, but I think we might be okay. I think Sipar should be okay as well. We just need to be above 30%. We need more options for dealing with that, to be honest with you. Let's take a look and see. We already did this before, but I'm wondering if maybe we make a spearhead, a dive, towards getting something with more stability. Okay, so aqueducts would give us plus 20. Hydrology, fantastic choice. Interesting. So there's like a theme of purplish, it looks like, for influence. So theater is very brightly purple. What else had influence? It was the calendar? No, something else right here. It was irrigation. Nope, I lost it already. I thought something else gave us early game stability. But maybe I'm mistaken. Are they color themed? Is that a thing? This is the Commons Quarter, so I think this is the... Ah, this is quite nice. So, I don't want to make direct comparisons, because it's not exactly like the Theater Square, but it looks like you really want to have this in the center of all of your different districts. Wow, this is going to be... Can we get a pinning system here? Are there any pins available? I miss pins from Civ 6 hardcore right now, because pins basically help you plan out where you're going to be placing all of your different districts. But it looks like the Commons District gets a massive bonus to stability if it's adjacent to everything. So per adjacent. So I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be even the same thing, but if we were to put a Commons area here, for example, we would get a plus 15 bonus to our stability because it's next to 2 farmers' quarters and 1 industrial quarter. And then we could extend that even further by putting down maybe another astronomy house right here, which counts as a food quarter. Excellent. So this could be a pretty good spot. And we just, as far as I know, I don't think there's a pinning system. We don't have any controls, do we? I don't see any keybind shortcuts. Oh, there it was. Hang on, sorry. I do see that. I just don't believe I've come across anything about pinning or anything like that. Hex grid. I'm sure they'll either mod this in or add this in very, very soon. This seems like a very basic requirement, especially once you're talking about adding all of these different districts around. This is getting pretty busy. Was there an option here in the city itself, maybe? Procession. Increases stability. What is this? Procession. Spend money in order to increase stability in the city. 10 stability for 10 turns. It costs 45. This cannot be done as the action is locked. We need to enact communal rights from the religious rights civic. This is like an active button. So this is separate, I think, from your building. Did we not? We didn't have this though because we chose a different option, didn't we? Communal. Yeah, this was procession. This might have actually been really useful. Yeah, spend money in order to increase stability, or just a negative 30% on religious district industry cost. Okay, that's fine. There's still a ton in the tree that I've not explored, and I'm trying not to look too far ahead. So is there even a point to building outposts if you're not ready to attach them to your city? Obviously, denying your opponents access to territory would be a big one. I believe just putting an outpost down and then getting the resource, so not really a great example. Do we have any more outposts? I think all of them have been attached at this point. Let's find a place that has a resource that I've not tapped. Way down here to the south. Sorry, horse guys, you're going to take a bit of a break. So you're going to come all the way down here. We're going to put down an outpost, and then I'm going to attach a artisan quarter just to get access to that resource. What do luxury resources give us? Let me go into our tiny, tiny encyclopedia of hard to read, also freaking snowblind. So, luxury resource. Luxury manufacturing, luxury and resources. Okay. Because in civilization, it gives you, obviously, happiness. Oh, this is so hard to flip and read. Luxury resources provide passive economic bonuses as soon as you gain access to them. They're also important for maintaining stability in your growing cities. Oh, okay, they do provide stability. Interesting. Luxury resources can be exploited once, all of them can be exploited once we research calendar. We can also, of course, trade it. So where does the stability come in? For stability, okay, per ebony on all cities. So what about ebony over here? Okay, so I'm definitely ignoring luxuries when I should not be. So let's try to fix this issue. So we're going to have to build an artisan quarter on top of the ebony here. I might be able to squeeze this in really quickly. It was only a 2-turn build. So let's put this at the front of the queue. We do want to finish this maker's quarter. We also have a bit of extra food, so why don't we drop a person over into the industry tile? I'm definitely neglecting my money, but that's okay. There is a curiosity next to our horseman over here. Sapar rather, also has quite a few artisan quarters. So we've already got one queued up. Let's go ahead and queue up the next one as well. I forgot there's more ebony over here, and I think ebony is going to give us just the same. Yeah, stability per silk on all cities. There's the wondrous effects, by the way, at the bottom of it. I don't remember if I mentioned that already or not, but if we happen to get 3 silk deposits, we would get the bonus 5% industry and 10 stability per silk if we have the patronage technology. How far in is patronage? Let's do a quick search. So patronage is how far into the tree? Okay, that's a bit. It's a bit of a ways down the road. We are quite far away from being able to understand the concept of monopolies. There's organized warfare. Let's grab sailing. Again, we don't necessarily need sailing right now, but it's cheap, and I am trying to get as many of the technologies research as possible so we can get our third era star for science, therefore getting more of a fame reward at the end of the day. What is closest? We're not close to anything else right now. 11 territories, that's under our direct control. I mean, some of these things might happen accidentally, right? So I don't think money will. It's possible that Estede might be the next thing. Estede. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think I'm doing it right. Otherwise, builder, stars, this is for districts. We're not going to build a ton more districts yet. So I think the next thing to happen is going to be science and probably culture. In fact, culture is going to happen pretty quickly because we're getting 35 per turn. And a couple turns in a row as our horsemen try to catch up. Is there a setting that lets you move people faster? There is one about battle speed animation, but there's not one for moving people faster, I think. I'm in love with the UI, honestly. It's such a beautiful UI. A melody for every occasion. In the teeming, iconic city of Babylon, musicians are a celebrated part of the local culture, along with a long history in holy rites. Reading's hard. They bring nobility to religious rituals, jollity to palace celebrations. Is jollity a word? I've never seen this word in the history of words. Makes people happy, right? So either we muster street musicians, and we muster them into elsewhere. They could help commerce elsewhere, even if they distract learning. Parsimony. Why are you giving me so many difficult words, game? Parsimonious on cities for 10 turns. More science, less science, more money. Or every city will be required to build an institution of music where we can teach new performers. This definitely seems a pretty solid choice. We have the money, and of course we are pushing for always anything that gives us in the progress tree. Now, we could take a negative, like the ideologies are kind of on a track, and once you're in a certain zone of an ideology, you already get the bonus. So we're so far into the ideology pathway that if we take one step backwards, it doesn't necessarily, we don't lose that bonus. So we don't always have to just pick progress for progress's sake. That being said, you know what? An extra 10 gold, plus 10 industry for 10 turns, plus 10 money. Why am I saying 10? Is it for each city? On 2 cities, right. So, we lose 4 signs, but we have a pretty good lead in science, I get the feeling. Let's try doing muster. I wouldn't mind a little bit extra money. We are kind of behind in the money game, so I'm okay with that. Oh, we have a revolution in 9 turns in Sipar. That should be resolved really, really quickly because we're going to put down this public fountain right now. Also, we're going to have the Maker's Quarter, which should give us a bit of stability as well quite soon. Al-Janib converted to our religion, and another culture has chosen the classical era with the Huns. So this must be the Huns up here at the top. Oh, maybe not. 3 other civilizations have all jumped into the next era, I think. Yes, they have, because their stars are gone. Hold up. You have 1,094 fame, and you're still in my era. That means you're going to get a massive boost once you go into the next era. Well, shame on you, my friend. Shame on you. Yes, we are mutinous in Babylon. That's fine. We are now moving back up towards 35% in Sipar. And Babylon... Uh-oh. Hold up. How did we... I'm confused because we lost all of our production? We have an infinite amount of... Where did I just see that at? Okay, for some reason... Cannot be done due to the city's current stability. Mutinous. Oh, production straight up stops. Does it though? Did it stop in Sipar? Huh. Only constructions that improve stability can be built. Okay, got it. So, we're going to put the Artisans Quarter. Will that be built? Yes, it'll be 1 turn for the Artisans Quarter. We'll follow that up with... That actually might be just enough to push us out of the mutinous realm. Then we can finish this Industrial Maker's Quarter. Then we'll move on to the Public Fountain. Okay, that makes sense. So perhaps as we're expanding and grabbing new territories, it makes more sense to only attach territories that have a good amount of the unique items, the luxuries on them. Or we just don't need to necessarily get them at all, perhaps. Nubians have reached the classical era. They've chosen Celts. Okay, so that was the Nubians are the ones who are in first place. What are the options, by the way, for the upcoming cultures? I haven't really looked at them. So we've got we talked about them briefly, but what do they give you? Okay, so we do get another realm or another shot at a unique building and a unique person, or what is it called? Unit. The Socratic methods is 2 science per researcher on city or outpost, so this would definitely go well with our current build. This is also a scientist-focused civilization. Carthaginians are merchants. We've got the Goths are combat-focused, it looks like. We've got the Morians, I think. Any other scientific? There's really not a lot of scientific-based groups out here. Builders. Obviously, we're the Babylonians. If we take this, we get Transcendence, which gives us more fame as a multiplier. But I think the Greeks would be a fantastic next choice. The amphitheater is their unique building. We would lose stability, but we would get 1 influence per era, 3 science per era, and then 2 science per adjacent district. And it counts as a research quarter. So sticking this just next to places is a huge deal. So I guess as you continue to expand your city... The difference, this is a hard mental kind of jump to make. You no longer eat the resources under you by placing down a district. That was a big thing for Civ 6. If you place down a district, that tile was gone. Was that, am I thinking that right? Do I remember that right? I thought it was. But now if we put down a district, it keeps whatever tile is underneath it, right? So our farming district still has a ton of food. So planning some of these adjacency bonus things out seems like it's a really big deal. And maybe it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Maybe the goal is just to have, massive amounts of... Maybe we'll have farming districts as far as the eye can see, and we no longer have normal tiles. We don't have any, natural tiles. They're all some kind of a district expansion. Wouldn't that be crazy? Maybe the end game is your entire territory filled with nothing but districts. No natural tiles that aren't unmutilated or something. I haven't seen any tile improvements either, come to think about it, nor do we have any kind of a worker system other than our builders being able to do things here and there. Our armies. Okay, what kind of a city can we build? Right in place is a... oh, this is good, 13-2. And it would be in the territory that we need. Let's go ahead and place the outpost down here. And I'm going to immediately, once it's ready to go, try to grab this ebony. And I think this is going to just give us a... all cities bonus. Oh, it is all cities. I keep forgetting that. It's not just the city it's attached to. So, yeah, expanding to grab resources is a huge deal, it looks like. Okay, that's something I definitely have not been putting enough attention to. Independent peoples. The world as ever is divided into rulers and the ruled. So we're starting to meet independent people. I think this is broken last time I checked. The mercenary army. So how do we deal with independent people? Basically like city-states, but not quite. We can either enact mercenary armies or assimilated peoples. Now, this part seems to match up. A reduced cost to hire the army, or a 50% assimilation cost where we're trying to assimilate those people. What doesn't make sense is how they skew on the ideology tree. Because the homeland seems to me make more sense for mercenary armies, while... I guess not. Maybe it's not that. Maybe homeland is... This choice is taken emphasizes group defense, exceptionalism, militarism, or militarization against other groups. Worldview emphasizes cooperation, humanism, universalism. Right, this still seems to be skewed improperly. So even though this is great, enact this, we'll get a assimilation cost. It doesn't seem to skew the right way. We're trying to go towards the world. It is a pretty big jump, too. And I don't think I want to go... Hold up. I don't think I realized there was a middle bonus to everything. Oh. Maybe going back and forth being middle of the road would not be bad here. Let's grab assimilated people.
They may have more to offer than just their weapons. Assimilation does seem practical.
And let's head back into this tree because I don't think, yeah. So if you stay neutral, you have a stability bonus. So I've been pushing us towards extremes, but by doing that, I'm actually losing a lot of stability bonuses. In fact, I bet I just screwed us up because now I bet we're even lower on stability because we have no longer access to those higher pushing types of stability items or ideologies. Well, still good to know. So we may want to try to stay neutral in some areas in order to kind of get a free, plus 10 stability bonus here or there. A melody for every occasion. Oh, I guess this is a continuation of our first little pop-up quest or reaction. Jingle jangle. Music has flourished across the empire in light of your choice to hire street musicians. The style is more chaotic than formal, but the sounds are energetic, alive, and ever-evolving. New instruments emerge all the time. The exciting, turbulent musical culture is well established. Jingle Jangle gives us a bonus to our liberty, which actually brings us into more influence per emblematic district, which is great. We unfortunately do lose a little bit of stability, though. Or maybe not. Are we that far out? I guess we get to keep some stability. No, we do lose 5 stability by moving into this next phase. All right, sailing has been researched. I think I'm going to go for philosophy right away. Actually, you know what? Hydrology has the aqueduct, which is a huge bonus to stability. Okay, so stability seems to have been identified as our bottleneck, as our, problem that we have to overcome. So definitely need to focus on that moving forward. This area is really hard to get into. Let me see if I can move into this territory and find a spot for a new outpost. 1312 sounds good. We'll go ahead and queue them up for movement here. Hold up, why can't you just move? Oh, does this mountain block? I think this connection here blocks the mountain. Sorry, blocks the passageway. Even though there's no... It looks like there's a clear path between these two. But it does not seem to be the case. Oh, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4... That's true. We can get all the way here and still have a spare movement. So it's actually cheaper to go all the way down the river than to move off a river and then back into a river. That's kind of funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we would actually have 1 spare movement if we move all the way along the river, just because of how much movement cost it is to move onto a river. So bizarre. Nyegor here. Nyegor is still growing. Population gained in Babylon. There was another star, which was from... Uh-oh. That was from something I don't think I wanted. How do we sneak in that 1 star? What was that? That must have been... the influence. That was the influence. That was the one that's kind of automated. So we're running the risk of getting too close to our next one. Okay, how much more do we need for science? We need 3 more technologies in order to get our 3rd scientist star. So actually, I'm making more money than I really want to make right now. First world problems. We do have parsimonious, which is... Oh, it's going to be available for 6 more turns. So 24 turns, we're looking at getting a 550. Okay, I think we're going to trigger merchant stars before our next star. Can we stay in an era and get more stars? Oh, I think we could. I think we can do that. You know, we're going to get a pretty nice bonus. I believe this reward system is only once you go to the next era. So we're going to get a nice big jump. Is that true? Because it seemed like we're sitting on 800 influence or score, fame. This other guy was sitting on like 1,000. Or was he at 1,300 and he just moved to the next era? Maybe the reward happens every time. Era stars unlocked this turn would grant this much money. Okay, so you get this bonus once you actually hit that reward. Got it. So we're pretty much already have all the rewards we've earned. If we happen to get, oh, where's the gold one at? Down here, we would just get 43 fame. So that's a huge difference. So The third star generates almost 300 fame versus just a measly 50 in the merchant star. And I don't actually think we need to go up a level. Can we go back? No legacy traits for this era. The Neolithic legacy trait is unlocked by accruing enough science. What is this part back here? The Neolithic legacy trait is unlocked by accruing enough science. Legacy trait. I don't think I know what a legacy trait is. Hover over each legacy trait to display its bonuses. Brilliant philosophers, 2 science per research technology on capital. Interesting. Okay, I don't know what those traits are, actually. I don't remember seeing those in our tutorial system. It looks like we pushed above our minimum level to get out of the, what do you call it, the complaining and revolting mode in the capital. So we are now building things again. You guys have placed down our outpost. Lovely. So we are continuing to expand our glorious empire. It looks like there's somebody up to the northwest. So I probably want to send a scout that way in order to meet the neighbors, meet the Joneses. We'll try to grab a couple more territories between us and them. So probably right here, and then these over here. This would also give us access to the Gunug Mulu, which first discovered by us. If the influence, stability on city or outpost, I think as long as you have the territory, you get the bonus. So yeah, we definitely want to move over to this wonder as quick as we can. Off you go. Wait, what's that? Who was that? Was that a trade caravan? I don't think I've seen trade caravans before.
Follow me.
Is there a technology that talks about trading? Trade fair. That's really far down the path. Huh. What did I just spotted? Somebody with a horse and cart, almost. Luluban, by the way. Oh, is Luluban the independent place? Is that what I'm seeing in this tree right here? Okay, that's what it is. Luluban is an independent people. And I think we've seen them before, right? They are completely opposite of what we are. So we're not going to be very big friends with them. So 2 other cultures are interacting with Lullaby. We'll call it just Lullaby. We don't know who they are, but somebody's kind of really pumping them pretty hard, probably from the other side. Because again, this is Pangea, so we're all on one world. So I assume somebody else would be actually... That is the border of another culture right there on the mountainside. So there is somebody else in this area. I will find you. I will find you and make you my friend. Okay, so Sipar is all set with construction. We're a little bit negative on food. We're making a ton in industry, though. We have a huge amount of industry going on. Would it only take 6 turns? That's really quick to pump out a... Oh, sorry. Whoa, hold up. Only 6 turns for a stone ring. Stone rings is actually our... religious site, so I think having this wouldn't be bad. I think the Hanging Gardens, though, would give us the same thing. It does count as a holy site. So let's put down... It would eat what I literally just made. We have such great production. It's going to take 27 turns to do that. It would give us a massive stability boost and some fame. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to eat what I just placed down. The one city is currently participating in the construction of this wonder. If Babylon were to get its stuff together here, we could also help out as well. But I think I have to wait to get more stability before moving on. Yeah, we are moving downward again in our stability. Uh-oh. Turn pending. That's new. Is there a complicated AI situation? Okay, that took a minute. Yeah, mutiny, mutinous in Babylon. We are continuing to make the public works, though. Hello. Excuse you. This is not good. These are 2 enemy random chariots from Lullaby. Oh, shoot. Do we not have a freaking non-aggression pact? I don't think I've got the strength to go up against these guys. That's not good. I have been completely neglecting military overall. Now, we do have almost 300 gold, though. So we could grab... We can't grab a chariot because we need copper. We could grab some warriors, though, and we could grab some archers. Let's go ahead and buy a couple of archers. Oh, I guess one archer, because that's all we can afford. Maybe we can combine the archer with the scout unit and get a little bit of a bonus to our damage. How much strength do they have? They have 17 strength. This isn't bad. What about these guys? They have 22. Fair enough. You know what would be really useful right now? Our unique unit, because they're anti-cavalry, if I recall. The Sabu Sakasti, but we don't have any strategic resources available. We don't have any copper to be seen. That's mildly infuriating. So that's pretty far away. I don't know what they're going to do. They might raid us. They actually might pillage us. Oh, they are pillaging us. In 4 turns, they're going to finish ransacking this tile. So it's probably going to be... Oh, let's see if we can do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4 turns for this archer. And then we can attack in 2 turns. If we move here, we can actually... I think we can skirt our way around the enemy unless they attack us.
Time to see what happens when foreign cultures get together and decide to murder each other.
No, I did not actually want that. So as soon as I moved next to them, I provoked an attack. Adjacent tiles to a hostile army are controlled by their zone of control, or called their zone of control. Holy... What the hell? That was an awful retreat. We're going to be able to get back there, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can still get there in the same amount of turns the archer would take, but that's mildly annoying.
Your first ransack is not very friendly, but it's better to be the ransacker than the ransackee.
That's rude. Who ransacks a random town? We might be in a bit of a trouble here. 18 strength. We can hit them from afar. However, what's the range on this unit? Oh, we have a range of 3? Whoa, they moved in the middle of my turn. I don't think I'm used to that. They moved as soon as I moved my archers into range. God, this is going to take a lot of getting used to. Now, we did stop the ransacking, which is nice. But now my units are very far apart. Maybe Sipar can help us out by chucking out a couple more archers. Let's do that. Let's put out a couple more military units. We'll do an archer and a warrior in front of the Hanging Gardens, because it looks like we're going to need some defense. To be fair, normally in Civ, by now, you would have definitely started to build. You would have had archers, and I definitely neglected that area. The last of their line, the troubling truth has emerged regarding the great stable megalopolis of Sipar. Many servants from the city's palace have been castrated at the command of a local ruler. These eunuchs are believed to be more loyal, and they are said to play a number of roles from courtier to singer to guard. What is your view on the matter? How would chopping off someone's happy parts make them more loyal? We could accept it, which brings us closer to individualism. How Sipar runs itself is not our concern. Punish these people. Forced labored on Sipar would reduce the stability by 5 for 10 turns. Would increase our production by 5. Adopt this. This will help steady the capital, even if the more powerful interests might be upset. Well, a little bit awkward. This will bring us down a notch, but it won't pull us out of the progress tree. And we will lose some industry, but this city is a lot of industry. The stability is why I'm so interested in this. This is 10 turns of an extra 10 stability in a city that's already kind of struggling with stability in general. I'm torn. I don't like the idea of doing this, but this isn't the ancient era, so perhaps this is somewhat normal. We're going to accept it for now. Alright, so our archers have retreated. The range is 3, but if we get anywhere near this enemy, they're going to come attack us immediately. Can I get over to... Let's see, there's a cliff, sheer cliff there. Now, we did pull them out of their little progress.
Follow me.
So you guys can move how far? You can move 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're just in front of their maximum range. I think I'm going to have these guys hold up here for just a moment. Oh shoot, I put them in a place where they actually can't get up. Okay, they can go this way. We still have a lot of time before we have to go to the city to help out. So I think connecting next turn, and then maybe the turn after that we go pull them off of the city. We also get an archer in 2 turns. Maybe we should have the archers move in.
Off we go.
just to pull the raiders off the city for a turn. Yep, as soon as we did that, they immediately moved away. Then I think we can retreat again. This does have a negative to something, though, doesn't it? Whenever you retreat, I thought it did something. We are interrupting their ransacking progress, though, so it's kind of a way to always keep them on their toes, but I'm sure there's a bad thing related to retreating all the time. Hydrology has been researched, lovely, so we are now able to build aqueducts, along with, what else was it? We also get access to water mills, which is +2 industry on the river, and food on the river, artificial reservoirs. This raises the level of irrigation up a notch as well. So irrigation should be giving us quite a bit everywhere there's a river. Yep, so +2 is already there on formerly +1 tiles. Hang on a minute. Now shouldn't you have irrigation? 3 food from the exploitation of the tile. Irrigation. +2 food on river. This is a river. That's kind of strange. Why? Oh, I haven't researched it, have I? It's an upgrade. Right. That makes way more sense. Sorry. So I have to actually, I have to research irrigation, or not research it. I have to build flood irrigation in my city as an infrastructure upgrade, and then any tile in that territory would then get that bonus. So I guess this is the replacement for the builder system, and I think it's kind of intuitive, because over time, as technology continues to grow, you're able to kind of modify your terrain a little bit more and control your environment to continuously improve it. So by getting this second level of water mills, no, it was artificial reservoirs, this tags together with irrigation. So if we have built something that gives us irrigation level 1, this would get then upgraded again to level 2, so that we would get actually +4 food per tile with a river. And once we have irrigation. So then, at this point, it seems like it's very, very smart to go ahead and put down flood irrigation. And I assume the same thing is going to be true for lumber yards. This is level 1. The next upgrade is the sawmill, which is done in the industrial era. Then that's going to give you more benefits for all these different resources. Awesome. This is so cool. So rivers are still very, very important. What about it? There's no city adjacency bonuses, right? I don't think so. It's really about where you are in the scheme of things and what you're next to. So the early game, in order to get your city down, the outpost build speed is dependent on the size of your army. You also, may want to put yourself near some industrial resources immediately to get that first boost of the resource, whatever it happens to be. But from there, you want to make sure you're next to an area you can continue to expand out of, it seems like. Curious stuff. There's so much to learn. I'm so excited to keep getting deeper into this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here at about 45 minutes or so. So I will wrap up episode number 4. Next episode, we will continue to expand, hopefully defend our outpost from getting ransacked, and continue to learn more about Humankind. Thanks so far for joining me, thanks for joining me so far. And I'll continue to see you in the next episode, my friend. Take care.